Hello, everybody. Today we are talking about Jupiter in Capricorn and how it affects the planets in Capricorn. This is part 2 of the Jupiter and Capricorn series. I made an overview already, and I'm going to make one about the planets and the third one about how it affects the various ascendants or moon sign. So let us explore. Hello, I'm Komilla Sutton, and we are talking Jupiter and Capricorn and the planets. Do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification. Lots of new information coming to you every week, so you don't want to miss it. So I already made a video about Jupiter in Capricorn. And this video number 2 is about how Jupiter affects the planets that are there in Capricorn. So as you are aware that this is the second part of Jupiter and Capricorn transit. Jupiter already went once over Capricorn in end of March to end of June. And now it is going to go across the entire Capricorn in 5 months. So it is rushing through Capricorn. And if you have planets in Capricorn, it is going to impact you. One important thing here is that there is no retrograde of Jupiter during this transit from 19th of November to 5th of April. And the second important thing to remember is that Jupiter is with Saturn. So while Jupiter's transit is always welcomed and it always expands and helps the planets to grow, Saturn is right behind Jupiter most of the time. First month it is in front of Jupiter, but after 21st of December, then Jupiter is ahead and Saturn is behind. So Saturn is coming with its issues. And if you do listen to my Saturn in Capricorn transit, then I will put a link here. So study that as well. And I will give a little bit of idea about Capricorn as well. So even though Jupiter is debilitated, normally by transit, Jupiter will always be good. He's always giving, he's always nurturing, helping you to grow. However, as I said, that because Jupiter is accompanied by Saturn, and so we have to be conscious of those aspects as well. So here, 0 to 30 degrees, if you have planets in Capricorn, it is not by section. This is a full transit, and it will complete itself in 5 months. Maybe even a little bit less than 5 months. So let us just explore. You have ascendant in Capricorn. Then Jupiter going over this should give you expand your horizons, help you to grow. Even though Jupiter is not the best planet for Capricorn ascendant, Jupiter by transit is always beneficial. And for you, Jupiter rules your third house as well as it rules your sixth house. So do watch out for health issues because of sixth house. Third house is impulsive action, doing things without thinking. However, Saturn is also there. Now, Saturn is actually helpful for you and also obstructive. So you may be feeling that pressure alongside with Jupiter. So we can't say that Jupiter is giving a entirely Jupiterian result, but at the same time, it will bring positive news for you during this transit. If your sun is in Capricorn, then Jupiter in Capricorn will definitely bring opportunities, good luck, good opportunities, something to do with your career, your identity. People will recognize you, respect you. However, you do need to watch out Saturn as well. But you see, Jupiter will especially be moving much faster than Saturn. So his impact will be first for you. And it will, especially if you have Sun in late degrees of Capricorn, then Jupiter will go over it, and Saturn will be still some time before it reaches there. Moon, of course, if you have got Moon in Capricorn, then you are in deep Sadesati. Saturn is going over your Moon, and therefore caution is the main keyword for you. However, Jupiter lessens that pressure a bit, and if you watch when Jupiter is exactly going over your Moon, then that will be a pleasurable, easy experience for you. And sometimes you can feel that, oh, things are really working for me. Why am I bothering about Saturn? But I would say still keep the Saturn energy and caution going for you. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so you have a very good Mars, and Jupiter going over it usually will enhance the quality of Mars. It will also help the houses it rules. It will help the identity, good relationship with siblings. Generally, you'll feel confident and full of energy to do things. However, as I'm saying with all the other signs, do watch out for what degree your Mars is and when Saturn is going to transit over it, because even though we are looking at Jupiter, we can't forget Saturn. Mercury in Capricorn, this is a practical, analytical Mercury, thinks about worldly things. It is more cautious by nature anyway. But Jupiter transiting over gives many opportunities, good luck, ways to expand your thinking, to grow with it. Of course, you have to also see what houses Mercury rules, and those houses will be helped by this transit of Jupiter. And, depending on the degree of your Mercury, of course, if Saturn is also going over it, then, you may get a setback or delay in proceedings. Jupiter, of course, if you have got Jupiter in Capricorn, and so you are getting Jupiter return, you would be either 12 years, 24, 36. If you are Jupiter Saturn together in your chart, then you are reaching 60, which is a very important birthday for you. But whatever it is, if you have Jupiter in Capricorn, you are reaching a milestone in your life because you have finished one cycle of Jupiter and you're about to start a new cycle. So new ideas, new thinking. You are naturally cautious by approach. You're good at money, finances, organizing yourself. And of course, Saturn is going to also transit over your Jupiter. So as Saturn transits, then you have to be cautious. Whereas the Jupiter transit itself is telling you that you have finished an important cycle and you're moving into a new cycle of life. So something very positive to look forward to. Venus, usually when Jupiter transits over Venus, it is good for relationships and love, and it is a positive aspect. Now here, because the two things are happening simultaneously, Saturn may be crossing your Venus and then Jupiter, or Jupiter first and Saturn second. So normally Saturn going over Venus is challenging towards relationships. It can show some issues that come up, and it can also show breakup of relationships in extreme cases. While Jupiter can soothe the situation, it can bring new relationships for you. You've got to watch the Saturn transit alongside with it. Saturn return, if you're getting Saturn return and you have Saturn in Capricorn, then it means that you are either 29 or you're 58, 59 years old, or in your late 80s. That's the Saturn return. So it's a very long-term coming. It means that, again, just like Jupiter, you are experiencing a Saturn return, but at the same time, simultaneously, Jupiter is going over it as well. And I spoke about Saturn return in my Saturn in Capricorn video, so do check that out. But Jupiter coming over your Saturn, it's going to make it less dour. It is going to lighten it up a bit, and it is expanding more easier energy. However, we cannot ignore Saturn, Jupiter together, and therefore, you are starting a new phase of life. But Jupiter is helping you to see the lighter side of life. Jupiter is giving wisdom and knowledge of how to deal with this new cycle, the next 30 years that you are going to go into. Rahu in Capricorn, definitely Jupiter will help it. Jupiter will give Rahu the wisdom and knowledge to be in the right direction, to deal with the right things. And Rahu is always impulsive, and sometimes Rahu is also makes you take a lot of risks, and Jupiter's transit will calm it down, and Saturn will further calm it down. However, Saturn going over Rahu is much more complicated because two malefics, one malefic going over the other, but Jupiter keeps a balance and helps you to deal with it. And finally, Ketu, Jupiter going over Ketu. Ketu is a past life planet. Jupiter will allow you to learn some new wisdom, some new knowledge. Whenever Jupiter goes over Ketu, it's like some information is revealed to us. If we are conscious of it and we are developing ourselves, it may be a good time for you to study Jyotish, Vedic astrology, study yoga, Vedanta, something more spiritual. Of course, Saturn going over Ketu is also reminding you that you have some karmas to do, deal with certain situations before you can move on. However, the Jupiter will give information. It will calm Ketu down. So the thing is that when we are looking at planets in Capricorn, the big problem is we can't separate Jupiter from Saturn. So I would say that this is a very important time. These next 5 months are an important time in a lifetime. Last time Jupiter, Saturn were together was in 1960. Before that was 1900. So you see how rare it is. And therefore, it is also rare for both Jupiter and Saturn to be together transiting on one planet. So what that is giving us an idea is that events are going to happen. This is going to make a new situation for you that you cannot avoid. And it is going to create both restriction and opportunity. And through that, it is going to bring about a major change. So those of you with planets in Capricorn can expect to have a big change over this next 5 months, because this is a rare transit, and none of us will be left unaffected by it. Thank you very much, and do remember to subscribe and press the bell notification. All the best.